Welcome to another episode of Operation American Dream. We got Mr. Daniel Lehman, my co-host, here joining us.
Favorite way to spend a Friday?
Oh, I love Fridays, man. We get to tell such a compelling story, bring in such amazing guests. What do we got? 4 of them today.
We got entrepreneurship, we got authors, we got finance, we've got
charity,
sports.
Rosie Network again. Yeah, this one's going to be awesome. Let's get this thing started.
Let's do it.
Operation American Dream starts now. All right, Lehman, we got our first guest today. This is a big one. Been on your radio show?
Yeah, very involved in the community, very involved in financial literacy, which is really important in the veteran community because the military bases, it's not really in their main scope of expertise to really do financial literacy well. They do what they can with what they've got, but it's great to have San Diego Financial Literacy Center.
Come out of serving, and there's a lot of misinformation or even no information what I've learned. So Brad Pagano is the managing director of San Diego Financial Literacy. Man, it's tough to say. I won't try and say it 5 times fast. You're also the leader on Boost for Our Heroes, which is niche to the military. So good to have you on the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
So let's start as a whole. San Diego Financial Literacy. Tell us about it.
Well, the center was started about 30 months ago, and it's designed to provide comprehensive and custom financial education programs. And we focus on 4 core education topics: personal finance, education, housing, and employment. And we have niche programs for the youth, the military, and our low to moderate income individuals. And really simply put, there was nothing that was as robust as what we've created in the community if you didn't want to pay for it. And what we've created is a free program that anybody can access and really help develop their financial roadmap, which is very important today, especially for our military community.
Yeah, so obviously this is something I think everybody needs. A lot of stuff that I know that you guys teach on you don't learn about in college. I know you got a workshop coming up that's related to credit and identity theft. I mean, you didn't learn about that in high school or college. There's no credit police that protects you from identity theft.
Right.
So you guys go deep on a lot of issues like that. And then, of course, also the military niche. And Daniel, you could speak to this as someone who's served. You came out of service, and what do they teach you?
I think a lot of the resources at the base, there's great resources at the base, but if they had to spend time with everybody at the base, they'd have about 3 minutes per year to satisfy everybody's needs. So Brad and San Diego Financial Literacy Center does a great job of bridging that gap.
So tell us about the Boost for Our Heroes.
Well, Boost for Our Heroes is really essentially a fundamental personal finance education platform, and we have custom built it and basically utilizing military terminology, military volunteers, especially veteran volunteers like Daniel, to help us spread the message of strong personal finance. A lot of times, a lot of the military families are uneducated or undereducated when it comes to personal finance. They believe everything they see on the internet. And let's face it, the military community is preyed upon. They are very big victims, not only of identity theft and cybersecurity, but also of just charlatans out there trying to sell them a home that they can't afford, sell them a car that they can't afford, to get them to buy annuities that they don't really need. So what we've really tried to do is knock out all the white noise and give them no nonsense real talk that allows them to understand where they are and where they want to be, and how they can get there is by developing a roadmap with us through the Boost for Our Heroes program.
So Daniel, you help people on the homeownership side. One of the things I've seen just from some of my friends who've served in the military, I mean, so many of them still rent their home, yet they make a 6-figure income, good enough credit, and they just don't really realize the benefits of homeownership. You also speak to people getting ripped off in that space. But as far as the opportunities go, let's speak to what you help people with.
Well, you know, the great thing about San Diego Financial Literacy Center is that they use people in the community that are doing good stuff anyways to be the providers.
Got it.
So a lot of times Brad and I will work together on, you know, if there's an organization that really needs that education or could benefit from that education, I go in and I can fulfill some of those educational needs that the community has.
So what happens, give us some success stories, right? Give us some good examples of people that have come out of the program. And you know, when you reference that maybe, you know, buying the annuities or buying a house they can afford, obviously those are things we want to protect people from. But those are also, it can be great things, right? Having a financial plan, buying a home, building equity. So you guys help to educate people. Give us some good examples of people who have come out and been able to, whether it be accomplish the American dream in real estate or just get themselves back on track?
Well, there's so many individuals that we've worked with, over 40,000 in the last 30 months.
40,000.
Our goal really is to, once we educate these individuals, seek out the ones that want to partake in like individualistic education. And we've got several thousand that we're tracking and utilizing, but there's a couple that come to mind. We've had one family that came to us that basically was on 3 days from being evicted. And needed to get some assistance right away, and they had been making just very poor decisions with their money. We looked at it and we found a lot of different issues with their budget, the way that they were planning, but most importantly, when they were paying their bills. We call it the more month than money syndrome. So we were able to take this family, immediately provide them with some emergency assistance so that they could pay their rent, and then develop a plan, and now they're on a path probably in the next 6 months where they'll be able to buy a home, which we consider the cornerstone of great personal finance is buying that home. There's another great story where we had a family who unfortunately went through a very life-altering issue, which is an accident right out here on the interstate, where the veteran lost both of his legs below the knee in a motorcycle accident.
In an accident
In
here.
an accident.
Ugh.
And the gentleman, the person who hit him ran. They've never found him. We were able to, with our partners, provide them with the opportunity to not only get a new home, but to successfully manage their debt, get themselves out of debt, start a savings plan, and also build a scholarship fund for their 2 young girls. So we've got a lot of individuals that we're working with. We've given away almost $30,000 to our military families over the last 2 years, and we're working daily to make sure that A, our military families aren't getting ripped off, and B, they're also getting educated by the right people on the right topic at the right time.
You know what I love about you guys too is the mission that you guys have is such a broad-based, amazing mission. And I know that you always say San Diego is the best, most beautiful place in the country, right? It's the best place to live. So your mission is to turn San Diego from the best place. I mean, you could probably say it better than I could.
It's basically to educate and empower individuals to make smart financial decisions throughout their lifetime and make San Diego America's finest financially literate city.
Don't you love how he interviews? He's like, you said something one time, and then you said something, and
You guys can
you guys just
talk amongst yourselves.
It's awesome.
Talk amongst yourselves.
That's usually what I do when I interview. People are like, man, how do you carry these interviews? I was like, man, I just get people smarter than me and let them hit the ball. Well, you knocked it out of the park today. Thank you so much. You got a couple events coming up?
June 11th, we have an event. It's our financial wellness clinic. It's our third of 6. It's going to be held at the Military Veteran Resource Center in Escondido. We're offering complimentary 1-hour sessions with certified financial planners as well as insurance workshops. This event is 100% free. Lunch and childcare is provided. And then 2 weeks after that, we're hosting our quarterly education workshop on cybersecurity and identity theft on June 24th. That's also a free workshop. That's also a free panel moderated by George Chamberlain. We'll have the Director of Cybersecurity from USD, Silvergate Bank, Better Business Bureau, as well as a CEO of an IT services firm. And at the conclusion of that event, we'll give another $3,000 away to a military family.
Love it, man. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you coming in here. Good luck with your events. Visit him online. Learn more if you're interested in learning about some of this financial literacy. Thanks again. All right, coming up next, more Operation American Dream. We got some great guests. I believe Stephanie Brown, the CEO of the Rosie Network, joins us in studio right here on the show. Back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Steve Madsen. My wife Debbie and I are the owners of this fabulous home in beautiful Coronado. We decided to put solar in the home because we wanted to have a smaller carbon footprint and we wanted to save some money. I'm a retired contractor and I've worked with Baker Electric in the past, so when I found out they had a solar division, I was ecstatic. They're a good company, got integrity, a good work ethic. I would definitely recommend Baker. My wife and I are extremely happy with what they've done for us.
All right, welcome back to the show. Layman, our next guest, Mad Men event. You have a good time at that thing?
Fun times.
Were you as broke as I was coming out of that thing?
Yes, yes.
It all went to a good cause. Yeah, it was a great charity cause. It was put on by the Rosie Network. Stephanie Brown, who's the founder of the Rosie Network, joins us in studio. And we also have Flossie Hall, who is the leader with Healthy Mama. Good to have you here as well.
Close, Flossie Hall.
Flossie Hall? Why did I say Flossie Mama?
No, you said Flossie Paul.
Oh, Paul, what was the first time we met? So we meet at the
She's
show.
been called worse, so I'm sure.
How's my hair doing? That's what we need to know.
Your hair is perfect.
Is it? Okay, got all this advice coming at me today. You should host this show. Anyway, so
We'll take over.
great event you guys did, the Mad Men.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
you.
Daniel and I both got in trouble with our significant others for making bids on the silent auctions, but got a lot of cool stuff out of it, and hopefully it worked out really well for the military and the network.
It did.
So what's the latest and greatest with you?
Wow. Well, I'm excited today because we get to actually highlight one of our member businesses. As you know, the Rosie Network, our mission is to help military spouses and veterans be successful in small business, which is the American dream, launch and grow these small businesses. And we focus through our development center here in San Diego, specifically on spouses and veterans that are transitioning, getting out here in San Diego. We want to help them launch and grow businesses right here in our own city because they hire other veterans and spouses. So it's really a win-win. And we're excited because we got to bring Flossie with us today. She's one of our
You don't even need a last name for someone to
It's
scroll.
like,
When it's Flossie,
like
it's
Madonna or Cher.
yeah, or like
Flossie.
Fergie or like Sting. How about Sting? Like just Flossie.
Usually the only Flossie in the room or around.
Yeah,
so.
I would think so. But did you?
What I was going to say is, you know what I always appreciate about the Rosie Network, whenever Leona's around or whenever I talk to you guys, there's always such a focus and such an emphasis on the military spouse, and I think that's so warranted and so important. So I appreciate that about you guys a ton.
Well,
Tell us about Healthy Mama.
So Healthy Mama was something, you know, I'm a military spouse, mother of 4 kids.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And with our schedules, my husband's gone in and out constantly. It was very hard for me to find employment and something that worked with my schedule. Meal prepping and cooking for the week was something I did for myself. A friend of mine kind of threw me into it at my house. And within weeks, I had dozens of clients. Within months, I rented a commercial space. And within a year, we're a 7-figure company.
Wow,
But-
doing meal prep?
Meal prepping. But
Now, is this a military niche thing or just something where you guys relate to Rosie? Because I haven't
well, the
served
Rosie
military and
Network,
I want to buy in.
I'm not
how
a
do I get a
business
meal
owner.
prep
I've
from you?
never gone to school for business. I went to school for science and wanted to be a doctor. And I turned to the Rosie Network and they were like, this is how you run a budget. This is how you do a business plan. This is who you need to go to for this. This is every step that I've needed from web design to marketing to finances and planning. The Rosie Network goes, here's a resource.
Well, Stephanie, don't you feel like the same things, the same traits that make someone a good Marine or a good sailor or a good airman or whatever it is, a good soldier, those kind of traits pour into kind of the ability to be a good business owner, right?
Absolutely, and I would include military spouses in that equation. We are, first of all, military spouses, we hold on average higher levels of education than our civilian counterparts. So, but the challenge, as Flossie said, is finding employment. And if our unemployment rate is over 30%, so if we can help spouses like Flossie start these businesses, grow and be successful, provide them the resources that they need, because they and veterans, they come to the table with a certain set of skills, and we know what they are. Hard work, mission-driven, problem solvers, and spouses are also, you know, flexible. We run businesses, our home, our whole family, our children, our family life, our service members' life, and PCSing, et cetera. I mean, it's like running a small business, but we're sort of solving 2 problems. We're solving the military spouse unemployment problem because these are portable careers that they can take with them wherever they PCS. And in Flossie's case, she's actually now employing military spouses. So
How many employees do you have?
I have about 45 employees. And
About 45
Yeah.
employees.
45.
I thought when you start with about, it's like about
start
3
losing
or
track.
4.
Honestly, we're growing so rapidly. I'm hiring roughly 2 to 3 people every couple of weeks, and I'd say,
how are you hiring? If we wanted to encourage anyone to connect with you, how are you growing?
Well, currently through word of mouth, through the community. Honestly, I have about 15 to 20 military spouses alone that are hired underneath me. We have a completely flexible work schedule where we cover each other. And sometimes there's even meetings at my house where there's 6 of us at the kitchen table and 19 kids out back in the backyard. So
That's so cool.
We do what we need to do to get things done.
And
Get
now
the
her
idea that
husband
you
can
enjoy it as well.
retire,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she's making more money than he is. So
You know,
talk
but you
about-
know what's cool about that is the origin of that story is somebody who liked being healthy, right? Like cooking, was doing it for herself. So you've turned a passion into a profit, which is a great thing. Profit's still a good word, right? And I know it gets demonized out there sometimes in the media, but that's amazing. And I know a lot of this is benefiting the military community, which obviously is what this show is about. And then you have other businesses you're helping as well. Speaking of healthy, we have cigars here today.
Well, the Rosie Network, as you know, Rosie's List is the Angie's List version for military family-owned businesses all around the country. So we have over 6,000 members that sell products and services. So I'm here, I wanted to share a couple of them. You guys can arm wrestle over who gets the cigar. This is a veteran and military spouse-owned business, very high-grade cigars. I don't smoke, but please enjoy.
Do you smoke? Because I don't want to have to arm wrestle.
No, I'm not arm wrestling and I don't smoke. But we'll find. Oh, there you go.
Shucks.
I'm moving on over.
All right, yeah.
So we expect to get a review on that. And then Lock and Load Java is another perfect example of a military family-owned business. They are a coffee company and they'll ship right to your door. Best coffee I've ever had. It's in our office. So I want to share their sample, Lock and Load Java. The other neat thing a lot of veteran-owned companies and spouse-owned companies do is that they tend to give back to the military community. And Lock and Load Java is a perfect example. They ship coffee packages to the troops that are deployed.
Love
So,
it.
yeah.
Great story. Great story. Flossie.
Yeah.
The Flossie is what you're going to be called every time you come in here. The
My
Flossie.
husband's called
Healthy
Mr.
mama.
Flossie. So.
There you go.
Awesome.
All right, coming up next, more Operation American Dream, more great stories where our goal is to educate, empower, engage. Be back here in just a moment.
My name's Kevin Grangetto. I live in Escondido, California, and I had my system put in by Baker Electric Solar. When they got here, they were ready to go. Started early, 6 in the morning. They parked off site, so they were able to get everything in on the roof, hooked up, and done in a matter of 3 days. And it was really easy for my wife and I to work with them. You just don't want a lot of these challenges to be, affecting the way that you do your life. And when they got in and out of here, it was excellent. It was easy. It's just the way they told me it would be.
Welcome back to Operation American Dream. Layman, we got our first athlete on the show.
Yeah.
You and I aren't athletes anymore. We're old. Used
We
to
try
be.
our best.
Yeah.
We're always talking about chiropractors and where we could find
No
somebody
kidding.
to fix us.
I got a basketball hoop I put up at my house the other day, and we played horse, and I pulled something.
You're at least playing basketball. I'm looking at the stairs at this point, and
No,
I'm like,
we didn't play basketball. We just shot hoops. We didn't even play the game, and I was like, I can't move. But Sean Ritchey, who is a soccer player with the North County Battalion, also a marketing director. You guys got a big event coming up on June 4th. Good to have you on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, correct. We are having our big game June 4th. It's against Chula Vista FC. It's our military appreciation night, and it's going to be a big game. We're really trying to get the military out and all the families, veterans, to come out and see us play and get the word out and thank them for their wonderful service, because we wouldn't be able to have our American dream without the support of our military.
That's exactly right. So tell us about the game. Tell us about the season. Tell us how it all works. I mean, honestly, I don't follow soccer that closely. I probably should. I know it's a really big emerging sport here in the U.S., but tell us about the team.
Yeah, so we're North County Battalion. Our home games are up at Del Norte High School, which is up in Forest Ranch. So our games are typically Saturday nights. We play in the National Premier Soccer League. It's about 3rd, 4th division in the pro soccer scale in the United States. It's really for college students and really emerging athletes that are trying to make it to the next level but haven't quite reached it yet, and they're striving, and I'm one of those for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been to these games, and they're exciting, man. I mean, a good friend of mine started the club about 9-10 months ago, and it's really taken off.
Right.
It's amazing what he's done in the short period of time that it's been around, because you got people running around with flags, banging this. There's food vendors. It's just a blast. It's a blast.
Yeah, we really try and get that atmosphere of going over to Europe and seeing the games in the English Premier League in Spain. Jason's done a great job with the marketing and really getting a great supporting base for our team already.
So that you're also aligned with the marketing. That's why we got you here today for the military event. So tell us what you have going on there.
Correct. So I work for the Marine Corps Recruit Depot's Museum Foundation. We're a small nonprofit that helps support the Marine Corps Recruit Depot Museum, which is right here in basically Old Town, Midway District, near the sports arena. It's a small museum on the depot that really tries to promote the history and the legacy of the Marine Corps, and I'm trying to do my part getting the word out about the museum. It's a little gem, we like to call it.
I love going down there, man. You've been down for a graduation or anything?
No,
you
I've
gotta
not.
go, man. It's intense, and the funniest thing is watching when civilians try to walk across a parade deck, and they just get
Oh yeah, they get yelled at. So today there's, yeah,
there's a huge
Is that why you
parade
just
deck.
invited me to go down there?
Yeah, don't walk
Isn't it
across the
funny
parade
when
deck.
civilians go down there and get
Yeah,
fire hosed?
Well, when you realize that all the people that served the country and some of the most amazing people in history have walked across this parade deck and done drill on the parade deck at MCRD San Diego in our backyard, and you see the yellow buildings and the planes taking off, and and you're sitting there and the flags going. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
So there was a graduation today, and the day before, Thursday, is family days. That's when we get the most traffic into our museum because the families are actually kind of stuck on the depot. They can't go anywhere else. That's when they first get to see their son who's graduated. Wow. And just to kind of let you know, all recruits west of the Mississippi are trained right here in San Diego. It's really wonderful, and it reiterates the fact that we're such a great military town, since 16,000 is about the average recruits graduate from MCRD annually.
Really? Wow, so June 4th, big game. Who you guys playing?
We're playing Chula Vista FC, so it'll be a good one.
Predictions, man? I mean, do you guys like the favorite or what?
Oh, we're going to blow them out. I'm hoping 4-0, but we'll see. Chula Vista's pretty good.
So you play midfield?
Yeah,
center
so
midfielder?
I'm center mid, center defensive mid. I kind of alluded to the quarterback of the team. I really try to dictate the play, and I got a lot of work to do, both defensive and offensively. I run a lot. I think the average soccer game, an athlete runs about 6 miles, I would say.
Unreal.
So over the course of those 90 minutes, I'm pretty tired.
Good luck with the game. A military appreciation night. Sean, thanks for coming in here. I know we can visit you online to learn more, but let's get some people out to that game, support our military. Good luck. 4-0. Why don't you aim bigger, man? Go 5-6-0.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. Hopefully get a couple goals out of you. So June 4th. Coming up next, more of the Operation American Dream. Stick around. Welcome back to the show, Daniel. So we had our first athlete on. This is our first author. No, actually,
second author.
Yeah, we had
Teresa Larson.
Teresa Larson. Yeah, well, our first male author. How about
Yes.
that?
We're running low on categories here.
Really. William Craig Reed joins us in studio. You've written 8 books. This one, your most recent is 7 Principles of Neuron Leadership. Also an entrepreneur. You've launched basically your own publishing company, my understanding is. So good to have you on the show.
Great to be here. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Tell us about the books. Lead up to the most recent.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have to hit them all, but tell us about your life as an author.
So I was a former U.S. Navy diver and stayed connected into that community. I actually we did some joint operational missions with Navy SEAL teams and so forth. So I have a lot of buddies that are in the community. And they gave me a lot of behind-the-scenes information. Now, I couldn't write about all that stuff for decades, so I finally was able to write about that, including some of the really just harrowing adventures that deep-sea divers did, saturation divers did during the Cold War. That was in this book, Red November.
Wow.
And also has some great stories about stuff that my dad did, top secret operations. And that's,
I'm going to interrupt you here because I know everybody's thinking the same thing. Let me put you on the spot. Give us a good story. I mean, you've written 8 books. Share with us something that you put into one of those books.
Absolutely. So in this book, I actually came out with an incident that happened to me personally aboard the USS Drum. That was my last submarine, where we actually...
And what year was this?
This was back in the early 80s.
Okay.
And I ran into a Soviet submarine a mile off their coast in Vladivostok Harbor while we were doing operations there. And they shot 4 torpedoes at us.
So you're in a submarine.
So we're in a submarine.
Okay.
Wow.
And then their whole Navy came out and depth charged us, and just, we were in their backyard, so they could do whatever they wanted.
Wow.
What were you doing there?
We were actually taking photographs.
So you were supposed to be there. You just
totally invited.
You weren't like my dog the other day, wandered in the neighbor's yard and I had to bring it back. I mean, you guys were out there on a mission, intentionally there.
That's right.
Capturing intel.
And we couldn't write about it for at least 20 years. I actually took that another 6 or 7 years beyond that to be safe. And still, there are a lot of details I did not put into the book that I won't divulge. But I felt it was important to get that story out because you know, these were courageous things that veterans did during the Cold War.
Divulge some of those details right now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for the first time, we have him here.
As they lock me up and haul me away.
So you and you mentioned in between the break, you shared this with our audience. Daniel asked you a profound question. He said, "Which of your books has been the most popular or bestseller?" And you said that book. So
definitely, yeah.
I can see why. So that's a compilation of other stories as well outside of yours.
Absolutely.
Fascinating. About how many stories are in there?
We've got about 16 or 17 different stories altogether that are just really fascinating.
Oh man,
really harrowing.
What's really cool now is you, in conjunction with Us for Warriors, is really doing a lot to support veteran and veteran family authors as well.
That's correct. So this book was published by HarperCollins, and I'm foregoing traditional publishing this time out with the 7 Principles of Neuron Leadership. The Us for Warriors Foundation was formed to help support veterans and families. We support all veterans, not a small group, and very frugal, no directors are paid, and we don't just give out handouts, we actually help veterans take their own leadership paths, which is what the book is about. And so this will be published by a new company under Us for Warriors, a subsidiary called Veterans Publishing, that will allow veterans and their families to publish their stories and share those with the world.
And last time we talked, you were crowdfunding an element to this, right?
That's correct.
And
So it'll be a crowdfunding.
Got it.
So to understand this correctly, you've written a new book, and it's going to be basically published under Veterans Publishing. Tell us about the actual book, though.
Well, so leaders don't lead companies, organizations, entities, they lead people. And those people have brains, and there are 3 key parts of those brains. And if leaders don't have a thorough understanding of the neuroscience that makes people do what they do, well, that's like trying to be a golf pro without understanding the science of the swing. You just have to know what that is about. But it's also really about leadership as an inside job, the sincerity part of that. We know now with conscious capitalism that firms that do have a focus on people and customers and something beyond just making a profit, 7 times better performance on Wall Street.
That's
7 times.
And it's going to get more and more and more.
Absolutely.
And you know, and that book is timely as well when you think about the emergence of technology and internet and social media. It's a whole different world of opinions, right? So when you are a big company, there's so many comments that can be made about you. So it's a fascinating just business story, not from just being a CEO, but how you get that brand pushed out there now. So awesome stuff. So William Craig Reed. And then one last thing here before I let you go, the Veterans Publishing, this is where you're publishing your book. How does that work for any veteran who might be looking to write a book?
All they have to do is go to our website right now, us4warriors.org, us4warriors.org. You can learn about the book. The interviews in this book are phenomenal. We've got a former NASA head, 2 former secretaries of the Navy, Deputy Secretary of Defense, the Vice Commandant of the Coast Guard, a 3-star Air Force general female, the former CEO of San Diego Girl Scouts. I mean, on and on. Just phenomenal leaders in this book.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for coming here and sharing the books with us, and good luck with everything with Veterans Publishing.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, Layman, we got to wrap this thing up. All right, so stick around. We're going to wrap it up, tell you what's going on next week right here on Operation American Dream. Layman, I feel like our job just is really easy here.
It's fun, too.
Oh, man, we have the most amazing guests with the most amazing stories. A gal named Flossie got a cigar today.
The Flossie.
Yeah, the Flossie got a cigar today. We had authors, people helping financial literacy. We had so many guests, honestly, it's tough to even remember in just one show, but great stuff, man. This is what it's all about, right?
Gotta keep it rolling.
Yeah, so we're gonna be here next Friday. Do we know who's even coming on next Friday?
We don't, but they'll be good.
They'll be good. So people that are helping us be advocates for you if you've served. Of course, if you're like me and you haven't served, we can always support our military. Those of you who have, thank you for your service. We're out for today, and we'll see you next Friday, same time, same place, Operation American Dream, 10:30 a.m., Channel 4.